Hello. There is a myth among people propagated by seismologists and scientists that earthquakes cannot be predicted. Earthquakes cannot be predicted by seismologists. That is true. But that does not mean that earthquakes cannot be predicted. Those who study planetary motions and transits, which are correlated to earthquakes, they can predict earthquakes. I predict earthquakes every single day. And I will show you another great example of an earthquake which happened today. I will show you the prediction that I had published earlier for this date range in which today exists and where the earthquake indeed occurred, exactly where I had said. And it is an area in which earthquakes are not very frequent. It's not, and so you will yourself realize that earthquakes can be predicted. Do not always question something. Always question something. That should always do not believe anything in anything blindly. So of course, do not believe blindly what I say. You should test it for yourself. You should go to my website, look at the prediction, look at what happened, and then come to your own conclusions. And I predict earthquakes every single day, so many of them. And question also the seismologists who simply dismiss the notion that earthquakes can be predicted. Just because they cannot predict, they think that no one in the world can predict. But they have been blind. They shut down the possibility that planetary motions can be correlated to what is happening on the earth. They shut down the notion of magnetic fields effect. They shut down the notion of planetary motions and everything, how it is interrelated. Instead of investigating further that why this is so, they rather just don't want it. They don't want to even bear this idea. It's more about ideology, because they don't think that something can happen which they do not fully understand yet. Anyway, let me show you the example. So this was an earthquake in the Gansu province of China. And I will show you later another example in another video of another earthquake which happened in the Gulf of Aden, south of Yemen. Another great example. So anyway, so I will show you the prediction first. So this is the prediction which I had published. You can go to astroweatherwatch.substack.com and you can go to the post of 2 to 12 January 2026 for the Eastern Hemisphere. And as you can say, this is all earthquake predictions in this post. So I say the area around Wuwei Lanzhou in China, that is this pictured area, I say, is a very malefic area, by which I mean for earthquakes mainly, but of course some other kind of malefic incidents could also happen. And as you can see, so this is the area which I pinpoint. So this is the area in which I say that earthquake would happen between 2 and 12th of January, right? So you can say here, this is Gansu province of China. This is the city of Lanzhou. And the line goes through this Lanzhou to Tianshui and then Hanzhong. So this particular area I'm saying it's a very highly likely area for earthquakes. And this as you can see, this prediction, if I go up, is published on December 31, 2025. And it is mailed out to thousands of subscribers at the same time. It is mailed out, and I had also put it on some of my social media, this particular prediction, because I wanted to warn people living in this area that there is an earthquake coming. So anyway, and so what happens today? Look at this magnitude 4.7 earthquake. All those predictions are, by the way, are for magnitude 4 plus earthquakes. Sometimes I tell them when it is 5 plus or 6 plus, I also say that it would be 5 plus or 6 plus according to my estimate. I can be wrong sometimes in magnitude, but in location and date, I am rarely wrong. So 4.7 earthquake happened today on 3rd of January. Yeah, as you can see here, it happened in the Gansu province. I can show you now, I have summarized it exactly. I can show you, this is where I maintain the list, all the documentation, what I predicted, what happened, the source to the news itself, the links to the prediction, everything. So as you can see, in Dingxi area in Gansu, earthquake happened. The prediction was published on December 31. Prediction was made for the period January 2 to 12, as I showed you earlier in that link. This is parmistankur.substack.com, where I maintain a list of all the predictions. Not all, I cannot maintain all, it's not possible. Only a few of the notable ones I put. And this was the prediction. I again quote myself from that website, and I again show the same picture. Right, this is the same picture which we saw, that this is the malefic area. Yeah, and this is the link to the prediction. So everything is well documented. Yeah, you can check for yourself everything. So people cannot, because when scientists sometimes do not want to believe others, they try to attribute bad faith or dishonesty or some things like that to others because they just don't want to believe. But everything is very well documented here. They themselves can go and look for the future earthquakes which I predict. And then what happened? I summarize magnitude 4.7 earthquake. Yeah, and you see where it has happened. So this was the line which I had drawn, and this is where the earthquake has happened in Dingxi area of near Lanzhou, in the Gansu province of China. And this is the link to the news, the same news which I put the earthquake, yeah, database. There's a link to the news also. So everything is very well documented. Yesterday, when I posted a video on the earthquake prediction and about Martinique and how the earthquake did happen in Martinique, a couple of people replied to say that Martinique is in a seismic area, so we don't. So what is the big deal about it? But it does not mean that seismic area keeps having magnitude 5 or 5.5 earthquakes every day. If it's a seismic area, still you need to predict when an earthquake would happen. A lot many parts of the world are seismic areas, but that does not mean that earthquakes keep happening. California is a seismic area, but magnitude 5 earthquake does not keep happening in California every week. You have to predict when something would happen and where it would happen. Not just California is huge. Whether it would happen in San Francisco, whether it would happen in Sacramento, whether it would happen further north, whether it would happen near Redding. You have to predict where, around which area it would happen, during which date range it would happen. I give you like 10 days. Within those 10 days, things would happen. And sometimes I'm even able to predict the date, exact date, and even the hour. But for that, I need to do a lot of work. And for so many earthquake predictions, I cannot do all that. Yeah, no one is paying me for this job. I'm doing it out of my passion, just to help people and to refine the science further. So you need to predict the date, you need to predict the estimated magnitude. I had said here 4 plus. As I have said earlier, I cannot predict whether it will be 4.3 or 4.7. That is not possible. I don't think that is ever possible, even with further research, I think. But what I'm saying is around an estimate, magnitude 4 plus. Yeah, and probably even magnitude 5 plus. For such earthquakes, I could even say magnitude 5 plus, even though it has remained only till 4.7. As you can see here in this area, I had said 4 plus and even 5 plus. And we don't know whether till January 12 another earthquake would happen here. It could happen. I hope it's not 5 plus, as it could create damage there. Yeah. So anyway, so you need to predict all these. And then when you're predicting all this, it's a very useful prediction, at least to stay alert, to be prepared. So just because some place is a seismic area doesn't mean anything. A few days back, I said the magnitude 6 earthquake would happen off the coast of Aomori, Hachinohe in Hokkaido in Japan. And it did happen, and it was magnitude 6 earthquake. So that information is very useful, and that is why many clients, for example, when they go on trips or when they even when they're living in a seismic area, when they sometimes ask me to look at a particular area, they pay me for that and ask me that which area in this area what could happen during this particular time. Maybe they're planning some big event, they are planning probably a wedding, or they are traveling there, and so they want this color, that what could happen in exactly at this time. Of course they know that they are in the seismic area or they're traveling in the seismic area. Does not mean that life stops in the seismic area for all the time. And it's not that I'm publishing this line, for example, in every prediction of mine. This is the first time that this is of course an imaginary line. This has nothing to do with the fault lines. This is a line which depends on the planetary positions, not on the so I look up at the skies to make all my predictions. So yeah, do not, just because you never assume, first of all, that you know everything. There is a lot to be learned in this world. So much of the world is mystery. So much of our own lives is mystery. We don't even know how our body works. We don't even know. We don't even understand dreams. We don't understand death. We don't understand even how our gut, our like stomach works. The bacteria in the stomach. We know now there are some good bacteria, bad bacteria, but how do they exactly work? We don't understand. We don't understand our own selves. So don't assume so much that you start abusing others when they're doing something useful, and say that just because someone told you that this cannot be done, just don't assume that this cannot be done. Maybe they cannot do, maybe that particular person cannot do, or that particular class of people cannot do, but probably others can. At least leave, always leave open a window of light, a window of doubt, a window of curiosity in your mind. Just don't close all the shutters and doors. Of course, many people do that probably to save themselves from con men, from those people who are out to fool them. But you should always, that is why I said, you should always test everything yourself. You should always check everything. Here is the, this is the pamistanko.substack.com is the place where I document everything. But if you want the predictions, here it is, astroweatherwatch.substack.com. Currently, if you go here to the home page, I say here where I am precise and where we still I lack refinements. This is the permanent sticky post. And then you will find here 2 to 13th of January, 2 to 12th of January, Eastern Hemisphere and Western Hemisphere, part 1, part 2. You will find here these posts. You can go there and match what happens. There's nothing hidden. Nothing is going to be ever edited or deleted here. You can save it. You can take a screenshot. All these things. Yeah, so be a little bit more open. That will help you especially. Okay. I can show you another example right now itself of the Gulf of Eden earthquake, but I can show it right here itself. I don't know whether I have, yeah. So this was the Gulf of Eden earthquake, which happened again today, and it's a magnitude 5 earthquake, so moderately strong earthquake. Gulf of Aden, no, off south coast of Yemen, off between Yemen and Somalia. So in Gulf of Aden, usually earthquakes, magnitude 5 earthquakes are rare. It does not happen that much, but it happened today. And I had predicted 4 plus earthquakes. I had not thought it would go up to 5, but I had predicted magnitude 4 plus earthquakes on this line, and exactly by this line, there is an earthquake. And this line was valid for December 25 to January 5. This was the time period for which this line was active. It was also active for violent incidents, and as you know, in southern Yemen, a lot of violent incidents have happened in this area. A lot of Saudi strikes have happened on some military bases here, for which I have created another video. But it was also, of course, predicted for earthquakes, because that is the main thing I look for. All other things are additional. And so right, almost close, almost like maybe 10 kilometers, not even 10 kilometers, yeah, right next to the line, this magnitude 5 earthquake happens in the Gulf of Aden. Now, of course, more precision can be brought here. Earthquake would happen here or here. Now that's a big difference, right? Yeah, you, if you want to evacuate, let's say if there were land here, you want to evacuate this area, not maybe this area. Or if it's a big earthquake predicted, then a lot big area. But that requires more work, more research. If I have more time and more funding, I would be glad to do it, and hopefully some others can also join me. I would actually love it if a seismologist joins me, if a geological scientist joins me, someone who has an open mind. Then we can uncover more things. It should be an interdisciplinary thing. But when people close their brains and ears and their minds and just dismiss outright whatever they don't believe in, when it becomes a matter of ideology, then society cannot progress. Thank you.